Howdy, howdy. Frosty510 here with a somewhat quick review. I'll try to keep it quick. Of Death Stranding 2 on the beach. And I highly recommend the game. I'll start with that. But you have to understand that Death Stranding 2 is more of Death Stranding 1. So it's really important that you play the first game. I think that's a given. And I think, honestly, I would hope that you enjoy the gameplay of the first game. So, Death Stranding 2 is a game like the first game that is two different games in one. So it is two entirely different experiences, and you may enjoy one over the other. So you have lengthy cutscenes, basically a whole TV show, a whole TV series. The amount of cutscenes, the length of them, and you have like a terrific, climax. They're pretty amazing cutscenes. In all honesty, the graphics are amazing. I think the acting is generally very good. Some characters are weaker than others, but I think overall it's very good. Like, is it the best cutscene stuff ever? No, I don't think so. But I think the way it's managed is pretty good. The key for me is that I really, really, really like the gameplay. So the gameplay of delivering packages, traveling the world, exploring, creating safe routes, figuring out where you can go, I think is the part of the game that I really, 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 really like. And so that's the thing, you can play the first game and work out if you like that. So you don't have to just shell out, the full price for the second game or wait for a discount. You can play the first game and you'll understand what the game is like. So there's nothing hidden, basically. It's pretty much straight out there. But you'll see that you either enjoy driving cars around, bikes around, running around, carrying the packages. I will say you don't spend a huge amount of time actually delivering the package with it on your back. So quite early on you get vehicles, and you can use those vehicles to make everything much easier. One of the things I've got here is a coffin board. So it's like a surfboard, but you can use that everywhere. But you can only use it in the chiral network. So, okay. So the entire game, from the same as the first game, is built on the premise of you expanding the chiral network. So you're giving everybody Wi-Fi. Very simple. Give everyone Wi-Fi so they all connect to the internet, so they can all chat to each other, and you can conquer the isolation that has engulfed the world in response to the dangerous phenomenons that have occurred because of the Death Stranding. So basically, all the bad things, you can counter them by having good Wi-Fi. Somewhat. It's not like it's solved all the problems in the world, but it's certainly a step in the right direction to restoring what is humanity, basically. So you're helping rebuild humanity and civilized world. And you have various challenges you've got to overcome. You have people who don't agree, and you have people that are scared, and they're fighting. And it's like, oh, let's go over here. And you have difficult terrain to conquer. And you have timefall rain. So timefall rain is the mechanic that I think is the most, I suppose, is the one you can tackle the most when it comes to how it affects everything. Timefall rain basically ages whatever it touches, except it doesn't age whatever it touches. It's kind of terribly inconsistent and easy to pick apart. The whole game, there's a lot of things that you can pick apart if you don't feel immersed. So I honestly think this is a game that'll be, like the first game, there'll be a lot of criticism. So the key to getting past that, of course, is that you enjoy delivering packages. So if you enjoy delivering packages, everything else isn't as hard to convince you of. You can move past a lot of the things that are particularly sticky points in the gaming experience of others. And I feel like the reason why Death Stranding 2 is so well received is because people know already what the sticking points are from the first game. So they already either overcome them or accepted them. And honestly, I think the thing to accept is that it is two different games. And I think that concept is really important, because what Hideo Kojima and the team try to do with the cutscenes, I think, is what maybe he should just do. He should just make a TV show using the latest graphics and animation, basically. He should just make a TV show. It's like the whole game is screaming that he just wants to make a TV show. Or a movie, you know? It's just like, I know all these games kind of send that sort of signal, but I think there's some parts of gameplay that are, I would describe as the kind of jarring with what the game is. It's I don't think the two aspects, the cutscenes, lengthy cutscenes, and the actual delivery of packages mesh. I actually don't think they mesh that well. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna get some more speed for this jump. So the character building, the story building, it feels like it's almost irrelevant at times when you compare it to the actual delivering of packages. It feels as though they're separate beings entirely. And that's the thing. That's the part where I'm like, well, this game is not a masterpiece. If you cannot have the two most important aspects of the entire experience mesh perfectly, you cannot claim to be creating a masterpiece. You can't. It's not a work of art. It is a very, I mean, everything's art, but it's not perfect. It's not reaching the highest high it can. And I think, honestly, I don't think it's possible with this particular gameplay to mesh it with this trailers and, I mean, all the different cutscenes and different things that they've come up with. I don't think it is a fit. I think they would be better off making a different game entirely. Something where it's almost entirely animated in terms of just interactive QTE, and you don't even have like lengthy gameplay sections. You just don't. You just keep it fast paced, keep it short. Like you take a Metal Gear Resurgence and you cut so much of the just roaming around battling dudes. You just cut it out completely and just have action-packed boss fights with QTEs. And I think you could make an entire game out of that experience, and it would make a lot more sense. But again, I'll go back to it. I think delivering packages, I think, is really nice. I do think building the relationships with all the people that are isolated, bringing them into the network, getting them Wi-Fi, making them happy, bringing their useless packages over, which so many of them have so much useless stuff that's like, if you actually look at what's being delivered, a lot of the time it's a bit repetitive. These analyzing devices and so much miscellaneous scientific objects that don't have any value, really. Oh, well, you're just repeating the same ones over and over. There's not nearly enough variance of objects, and they don't have practical value at times. Some of them do, of course, because they are scientists and things, but I do think there's definitely a lot of room in terms of building immersion with integrating various elements. I don't think it's like there's a huge amount of things that aren't particularly logical. But you kind of expect that with Kojima. You do expect some things to be kind of weird. But I don't think it's weird in the Expedition 33 kind of way, weird and interesting, and then, changes and stuff. But it's more just in the sort of odd stuff with the UI. So much of the game is UI. I mean, that's the other thing. So much of the game is you're going through your different UI, you're eating your things, you go in your cargo, you auto arrange, you can take stuff off, you got all your novelty things you can wear if you want, glasses and things. I don't have oxygen. I don't have an oxygen thing. Can I do anything when it comes to that? Nah, it's fine. So, yeah, I mean, you have the BTs, the challenges. Back to what are the challenges of the game? You have BTs, which are like ghost entities that you have to battle against. And you have brigands, so people who don't want to be part of any chiral network, but they want to take all the advantages of the chiral network. And they want to beat you up. And you can't kill people in this world, because if you kill someone, they create a void out. And the void out is a massive explosion, destroys everything. So there are some fundamental things. You do want to do non-lethal playthrough. But that said, if you kill someone, one of the brigands, you can actually just dump their body somewhere, and then the company that hired you to do all these deliveries to bring everyone on their Wi-Fi will just take care of it. You just lose 1,000 likes. So it doesn't... You can void out yourself. So you can be voided out, which does impact the terrain and makes like an unpassable area, but you can't... It doesn't do that with NPCs. They don't matter as much. And I feel like that's where... I think the fundamental flaw of the game is that... Oh god, I'm so dead. Okay, this is good. A bit more action-packed. I think every brigand in every random military base should have a name. I think it's inexcusable that they don't have their own identities. And you can say, well, how could they do that? They did that. In another game, Metal Gear Solid 5, they did that. So every single NPC soldier had their own stats. You could take them back to your base and brainwash them into joining your cause. They all had names. Every single one of them had names. And there was thousands of them. So you get a little bit of repetition. You don't have nearly as many people in this because you knock them out and then you go back to the base and you knock them out again. So I think them all having names would be... I think there's a whole world of immersion that's missing from Death Stranding. And it should be there because they can't kill you. So if you get beaten up, they take you over to the garbage dump and they dump you there. I feel like there's so much more room there for more interesting stuff. I know we can't use the Nemesis system, but that would, I think, work beautifully in this situation because they can't kill you. Now, when they do kill you, which they shouldn't, but they do, oh, okay. Then, yeah, it gets slightly more complicated, but you can't die. So there's a big... That's the other part of the game is Sam Bridges is a repatriate, so he cannot be killed. So it kind of takes a lot of the danger away, a lot of the... Actually, let's just go over here. What am I doing?
Fuck me. Oh boy, that must hurt.
This is a great spot to be. This is why you put on the bokeh. Yeah, so even playing through on brutal mode, I didn't... Being beaten up, losing an armed combat encounter, just felt like it was annoying. It wasn't like, oh, okay, I need to rethink my strategy. It's no, I'll run back in there. I knocked a few guys out, so they're laying down on the ground. I can just beat up a couple more and I'm good. And I went through and did a lot of melee combat. Okay, a bit too vertical. So I did huge amounts of melee combat. And so I would do this. My legs!
Sam, can you hear me? Wake up!
So here's exactly what happens when you die. You don't have to do this, but you can just repatriate. But I think what's the point I'm trying to make? There isn't any... The danger is less. You can still fail missions. So you dying can affect mission. Start and it just reloads. But ultimately, the reason I think combat isn't thrilling, it's not a thrilling game, and the combat is definitely one of the weaker aspects because there's no consequence. Because you can't die. And they just let you go again. Oh, let's be careful. Oh, we can do this, can't we? Wait. Why can't I freaking... I want to sprint. And then slide. But it won't let me slide. Okay, so if we sprint. No. Okay. Oh wait, it's... No. Okay, well, I guess I'm just not going to do that. Yeah, so without the thrill, I think a lot of combat encounters are just annoying. I don't think the investment they made into making combat more interesting has really done a hell of a lot. I honestly felt like I was just being dumb playing the game on brutal difficulty. I was like, I should have just had it on the lowest difficulty and then I just fly through the fights. Because the BTs, they're just health sponges. They just have so much health. They're not more challenging. I mean, like, they'll do like a grab thing at least to kill you or whatever. But it's not more interesting. It really... I really just don't know why they even bothered with some of that stuff. Because they're just not capable of making interesting combat at higher difficulty. And it's like... they just can't... They just don't have the ability. And it's kind of sad, because I feel like with the cutscene side of things, they did some interesting stuff. And maybe the answer was to mix those two together and take away from what was just completely lackluster. So it's imagine you're playing Dark Souls, but you can't dodge roll. So you just... But the enemies attack so slowly that you can slowly walk your way to get out of range of their attacks. So it's like, you just dodge by moving continually diagonal. You just keep moving, and you just dodge. So you shoot, and then you just dodge. Like, you just get your thing out, and just... And then you're fine. Alright, here we go. This is one of the cool things, though, I will say. Okay, we can do some battling. Alright, let's get out of it. As an okay, the other part of the game that's really interesting is the online integrated system. So I didn't build this structure or this structure or any of this stuff. Someone else did. And as your bandwidth increases as you expand the chiral network, you get to see all the stuff other people have built, which can be interesting because they build bridges that help you out when you need something to cross a bit of water, or there's, you know, maybe you need to take a break and someone's built a shelter there. You can turn it all off. It is all optional. And they put signs everywhere, and they can be annoying if if you're hyper attentive to it. It can be frustrating that they're just constantly going beep, 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 beep. But it's an opportunity to get likes. So you give likes and you get likes as you progress. And with those, your various skills increase. You get access to different things, your different equipment. If you deliver lots of stuff, you get lots more likes. You get 5 stars on every outpost, and you get there's a bunch of stuff. You get a bunch of things, upgrades for weapons and different versions of weapons, and really just different versions. And then different, upgrades for your car, which is nice. Extra batteries and things. And as you explore Australia and Mexico,
Give me a break.
I think, honestly, the scenery is really nice. So I will say, I don't think it encapsulates Australia or Mexico in all of their splendor, but it tries, and I'm happy it tries. I think, Australia's side of things, I think it doesn't really make a huge amount of sense, but neither did it in the first game. Death Stranding didn't make a huge amount of sense. But in terms of you somehow connecting the whole country, and they're like, it's like only a couple of kilometers, but it's like whatever. You buy in. So much of the game is trying to give you immersion and to face the challenges. But I don't know, it's up to you. It really is a game where you can know exactly whether or not you like Death Stranding 2 by playing Death Stranding 1. And it's, yeah, that's just it. That is totally it. It's why, it's just an easy game to either recommend or not. It's like, did you enjoy Death Stranding 1? Yes, then play it. Now, is it better and more optimized and all this sort of stuff? It looks nicer. It is different environments. I don't know if I'd argue the structure at the end was a little more entertaining in Death Stranding 2, but having said that, I felt like the emotional weight in Death Stranding 1 at the end with cutscenes was actually really, really, really good. One bit was really good, and there was like 4.5 hours of just whatever. Like, I think some parts of Death Stranding 1 were just generally boring with the cutscenes, but I don't feel like Death Stranding 2 had that problem. Although the challenge... Ouch, my legs just broke. They don't break. I wish they did break, though. That'd be more interesting. The climbing is not particularly interesting. Oh my god, can you stop? It doesn't have, like, in-depth climbing. It's just press square occasionally on a ledge. So it's not like an actual climbing game. And then the package delivered, because you get cars so easily, you just feel stupid for not using the 4-wheel drive.
Let's go!
Some air. Hell yeah.
We can do a boss fight here, but I kind of... Oh. So my worry here in this situation is like, oh, is this like a thrilling encounter with these ghosts? No, I don't want to get dragged into a boss fight because the boss has like too much health. This is my brutal mode and it's just annoying. Oh god, I'm gonna get dragged into a boss fight, aren't I? No, I got him. I got him. Jump, 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 jump. Oh, I'm so stupid. Well, we get to show you a boss fight at least. Yeah, so if you don't enjoy delivering packages and making incremental improvements to the world around you by building roads, honestly, I built lots of roads, lots and lots and lots of roads and upgraded them. Look at my stupid health is damping now. It's just stupid. I know the weak point's the freaking mouth. Oh god, run! See, I didn't run slightly left or right. I got stuck on the environment, so I got hurt. And like, it does a grab attack, that'll insta-kill me. This is probably the most interesting weapon in the entire game. So, yeah, this is as interesting as it gets. I can climb stuff, but it's like irrelevant because it'll just jump on it. Let me just charge this up. And this takes so long. What if the damage just hitting it rather than charging up? I think no. Okay, better move. Okay, I didn't move. I got stuck on an object again. Run away from the insta-kill attack. This is one of the smaller enemies, by the way. So it's like, some of the others are way more annoying and like just run away for ages and make a pain in the ass. But you do get an extra tool to deal with them, but I can't use it because it has copyright music. So that kind of makes things slightly more awkward. Let's charge up. Okay, run. Oh my gosh. Alright, where are you at? yeah, they just have way too much health. And it's just because you have no real movement abilities, and particularly when you're stuck in tar and your movement's reduced, they really can't do a lot to you, honestly. Some of them have ranged attacks, but easily dodgeable ranged attacks. And they have charges, but you can just run left or right, it's fine. And just I have magical gloves that you get way too late. Honestly, the gloves I'm wearing are probably the best item in the game. Better than the guitar. Because they let you pick up things from a distance. And honestly, you should get that like straight away. Honestly, there's a whole bunch of quality of life stuff that would be way better earlier on. Oh my god, I picked up freaking packages. Oh, we got some money. I spent thousands of Carl on my guitar shooting. Can you put that away? Yeah. Yeah, so if you enjoy running around and then battling enemies that have so much health that they kind of become irrelevant at times. Or shooting people and knocking them out, and then they attack you again the next time you see them, and you just knock them out again, and then the next time you see them you knock them out, and you never ask their name. Very rude. I don't know. I've gone way too long, as always. I always do this. I always make things too long. But, like, I don't know. I mean, you take a package, you go from A to B, you deliver it. It's not complicated. They try and make the narrative somewhat complicated, but then they explain it, over-explain it. And there's a whole bibliography explaining it even more over-explained. I don't think Mr. Kojima believes that human beings are capable of understanding, or even allowing human beings the room to interpret anything in their own, for their own, curiosity. Giving them, there's no wild theories coming out about Death Stranding. There's no freaking 3-hour YouTube theory videos because they over-explain everything. There's no mystery. It's kind of a little bit sad that they don't leave any room for a fandom to do anything other than give each other likes. It's kind of, But the music is fantastic. I think you playing the entire game with the music on the music player. Highly recommend. Absolutely the way to do it. As for streaming the game, which I did, you can check on the channel. There's lots of copyright music that you can't skip, and they don't have the settings. So the problem with the UI, there's a lot of problems, but the audio setting only has master volume. It doesn't have like music or like car sound effects. It only has master volume. So it's basically a PlayStation 1 game. I don't understand this. I don't understand it. I'm not sure how it's possible in the modern world in 2025 to have no differing options. And there's no streamer mode, so you just get obliterated. I'm on base PlayStation 5, and honestly, I think you do, if you really pay attention, you'll notice little loading bits, but for the most part, it's really good. Decima engine or whatever it's called. Bloody killing it. Oh, can we go steal one of those cars? Oh, it's another coffin board. Beautiful. I think it's really nice. People leave stuff out for you to use. I think it's very, very convenient. skybox is very nice. The changing, you know, the day-night cycle I think is very nice. I think the upgraded roads you get way too late. I feel like so much stuff would be way more interesting if you got it earlier. I do feel like there are benefits to just rushing through the story just so you can get access to things, equipment and items that make the game more interesting, and I think that's a failing. I mean, I'm at this point, I can just admit that Norman Reedus is not given better, he could be given better direction. He nails quiet, sullen, maybe not even sullen, emotionless NPC vibes. He nails that, but he is capable of more. I believe he's capable of more. Based on The Walking Dead, I think he can deliver a line or two with weight. And he doesn't get any memorable lines. I can't remember any of them. I think he honestly, he's underused, is how I describe it. But it leaves room for you, the player, to be him, I suppose. Because that's one of the things they have to weigh up when it comes to main characters in video games. Where's room for the player playing to feel like they actually are the character? And there's room for that here, but I kind of wish, particularly in the, you know, because the game is pretty much a TV show plus a delivery game, I kind of wish that he had more of a character and was afforded more of a character, because I feel like, yeah, I just feel like he could have had more. And he has plenty of opportunity, but it's just like, I don't know. I don't know. It's just, yeah. Particularly when you compare him to Neil Varner. So he's a character in the game. The actor for him is phenomenal. And the body, the motion capture, the emotions, does an exceptional job. And it really highlights how lacking Sam Bridges, the main character here, is in this game. I feel like I didn't feel it as much in the first game, and a part of that was that I thought his deadpan response to the entire world was like a coping mechanism, and it was like, okay, just roll with it. And he was like, that's the reaction I took to every cutscene and things, was just, you know, it was like, okay, whatever, shut up, I gotta deliver some packages. And that was fine, but I kind of feel like the story demands more from Norman Reedus in this game, in the sequel, and he does not meet that, or he's not allowed to meet that. I feel like I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say I think he can do it, but he's not given the chance. Perhaps they didn't believe in him. I'm not 100%. I don't know exactly how it worked on the inner tunings. I have no idea. I can only guess, but I feel like they could have simplified things a little and given him some powerful dialogue, and I think that would have been enough. Like, yes, maybe there was a different actor who could have done a wholly better job, but perhaps their personality would be too strong, that it would be harder to be for the player to imagine that they're the character. But then I don't know if that's the case. I feel like the way the game is structured, I think it would be fine. Because it's just so many hours of cutscenes. It's like, yeah. Everyone else is really good. Supporting cast, I think, is great. I kind of inconsistent on some of the voice acting, particularly for Rainey. So, Rainey, I feel like she's much better at the end. It's very strange. It's like she learned better English at the end. Or just different. Her accent was all over the place at the end, but parts of it were better. It was very odd. I'm not really sure exactly how to put it, but I think, yeah, since it leaves all the explaining of the finer details towards the end, it kind of changes perspective a little bit on here and there on the events, but at the same time, they do love to just go over the same points over and over, and you look back on it and go, we solved this, we answered this question hours ago. But then they want to just revisit it because they want to try and change the way it's framed going forward. And it's, I suppose it's fine in the end. I think I understand it more now at the end, but it's, I don't know. I feel like there's a better way of writing it. So I definitely feel as though there's a restriction, like they're fighting against each other. They're delivering packages and trying to save the world through uniting people. It does kind of conflict with some of the cutscene stuff where they're just their own group, and I don't know. I feel more alone in the cutscene sections, which is, I think, wrong. I feel like the entire point of the game is about connections, and it doesn't pay that in the conclusion. In terms of the whole thing, I feel like it still does in your small group, but in terms of the whole world, I feel like there's definitely room in the next game, if there is a next game, to do some really, I always say it like freaking Spirit Bomb, Goku energy, you know, where you just lend me your energy kind of stuff. The power of the chiral network, the power of the internet working together to defeat some big bad, I think would be, you know, stereotypical or typical, whatever, that's sure, but I think it would be good, because it's, I like the message. I like the connection is so important and matters. Yeah. And you can see this massive road network that I spent ages building and upgrading. This is hours and hours and hours and hours of work. I played 70 hours, and this is probably like 30 hours of work. It'd be even worse if it was all alone, because other people did contribute materials to build the roads. But I did all the upgrades, because they can't help you with that. They can upgrade pieces, but they can't help you with in-progress stuff, so. Yeah, I mean, if you're bored by the traveling through the world, then you're not going to enjoy the game. I think this is the litmus test. If you've left the video by this point, maybe you wouldn't enjoy the game. But if you're still here, I'm sorry the video's so long. I always do this. I'm terrible. Alright, this has been Frosty by 10 with a review and recommendation of Death Stranding 2. It's not a masterpiece and any of that shit. Oh my gosh. It's two different games in one. I mean, it's a TV show and a game. And if I think the TV show is pretty entertaining in its own right, but I feel like the game is much more important, and if you don't like the game part, it massively impacts your experience. So play the first game first, obviously, and if you enjoy that, then you'll be fine. I honestly think you'll be fine. You'll enjoy it. It's never, you know, it's so simple. It's not like, I mean, there's not many franchises where they go completely different for the second game. So, generally more of the same. Like I don't know if it's, you wouldn't say it's a Borderlands 1 to 2. Maybe a Borderlands, nah. 2 to 4? We forget 3? Yeah. Cruising. The music is great. Play with the music on. If you stream it, I don't really recommend streaming it. I mean, it has some good moments with the TV show aspect, but I don't know, there's so much copyright music, it can be kind of grating, particularly towards the end. And so much to you building the world. If you skip through it, I kind of feel like you lose something if you skip through it and you don't actually deliver lots of packages and fight BTs. I mean, fighting the BTs is yeah, the combat is so weak. I think you can just play the game if you're streaming it and you're, you know, probably thinking about streaming it. Just play it on the lowest difficulty and don't even worry about the combat as being a challenge. Just go and punch dudes in the face. And I think that's a bit more satisfying than the gunplay, really. Use the pizza stuff. Pizza moves are so cool. Like, look. I can be like,
Hell yeah!
oh, like Darth Sidious, and then okay. And you can't go in any big cities. You're just a delivery person. You don't get to go in cities. You don't have the right. I feel like for the next game, which I think is in Africa, my understanding is it's Africa. That's not really a spoiler, I'll be honest. Because you'd be like, oh, of course I'm making another game. Oh. But yeah, if you're in the mood for some scenic, calm vibes at times, and then some banging cutscenes and epic stuff, and then boss fights that drag on way too long, definitely go on the lower difficulty, then Death Stranding is 2 on the beach is the game for you. If you're not interested in delivering packages, and like being very careful with your driving and not hitting things, then it's probably not the game for you. But you can check with the first game. Just play the first game. It's very cheap, and you'll know straight away. Yeah, just play the first one, and you'll know. Yeah, I'll tell you, the UI, they do a lot of stuff with the UI. It's a game you spend so much time in the menus. It's just, I mean, that's what Metal Gear Solid 5 was all about too. You spend so much time in the menus.
Trouble nearby.
I'm not fighting the brigands. Yeah. There are wildlife. Don't run them over. Try to avoid running them over. Sometimes it's hard though. They like jump in front of your car. It's just, and they don't give you a chance. It's just like, you're a bit annoying, in all honesty, that part of it. But it's not a huge amount of wildlife to the point of actually feeling like the world is filled with wildlife. It's like very, very sparse. There's no crocodile infested waters. There's no insects for some reason. They're just not capable of that, I suppose. It's not a world that feels alive because everyone's hidden in their outposts. It's only when you know, upgraded roads and things, you see porters actually walking around. But even then, it still feels like the isolation is still very strong because of the Timefall rain. You can't go outside because the rain makes you old. So, yeah, I do feel like the core issues are still core issues, and I know I feel it could be more immersive. It could be more powerful. It could be a bunch of things, but this is what it is. It's a package delivery, lots of car driving, off-roader, maybe the truck if you want, but just go around the world. Now we're back to normal speed, but you'll be very slow. I have upgraded roads, which are way faster than normal, so you'll actually be like a bit too slow, and like it's more painful. So, like I've showed you the premium experience, which took hours of work, and if you buy the game and you boot it up, you're gonna be like, oh, I'm not super fast? And then look, oh no, I don't even have car or network for this bit, so I actually can't, I had to walk it. I'm not gonna walk it. Oh my, yeah. And everything gets destroyed by Timefall rain, so the roads get destroyed, everything gets destroyed. All of your hard work to build the entire world and to save people and to integrate and connect is made redundant by the Timefall rain. So everything you do is pointless. I just wanted to add that at the end, if you're still here. Alright, that's my first 510. Like and subscribe. Tell me what you think of the game. Do you think it's the greatest game since Sliced Bread? Because I I would say that that's ridiculous. It's two different things. It's just too different. It's just, yeah. I don't think you can even, yeah. But I like it. But I appreciate its niche nature. And the limitations and the challenges they have. Oh god. Oh god. Okay, not looking good. Not looking good at all. Don't break. Stay alive. Oh god. Never go down the rapids. It's not really a hoverboard, it still hits rocks. Like, it's pretty cringe, honestly, how it hits rocks. But yeah, there's some powerful emotional moments with music. And I think there's some really good acting worth experiencing. And I made this video just way too long. And I keep going for some reason, but that's just how I roll. A new update. Alright then. Catch you later. Bye bye.